Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for...
Turn the sound off.
Okay. Thank you for attending the August 12th Albany Port District Commission Board meeting. And we are honored today to have both Mayor Sheehan and Mayor Dwyer from the City of Albany and Rensselaer. So thank you both for coming. We really appreciate all the support that you give in our organization. So at this point, I'd ask everyone to go around the room and just introduce yourselves. I'm Georgette Steffens. I'm the chair of the Albany Port District Commission.
Kathy Sheehan, I'm the mayor of the City of Albany.
Joe Coffey, treasurer.
Dan Dwyer, mayor of Rensselaer.
Alan Magliano, commissioner.
John Bulgaro, commissioner.
Eric Smith, director of internal controls and enterprise analysis.
Bill Ring, Federal Marine Terminals.
Al Thompson, visitor, Saratoga Springs. My company is Logistics Auditors. I'm here as a private citizen.
Richard Lescavar, Maritime Ministry.
Tom McGinnis, IT at the port.
Jack Corella, Albany Maritime Ministry.
Annette Gasberry, Albany Port.
Megan Daly, Director of Economic Development and Procurement.
John Cosin, Director of Operations. Tony Vassal, Business Development and Marketing Manager.
Terry Hurley, Chief Financial Officer.
Richard Hendrick, general manager.
All right, and unfortunately, Tom Owens is still traveling, trying to get back to Albany, but he will, we met with him this morning over phone, and he'll be joining us at the next board meeting. Okay, so one item to note, so we're going to look at the minutes. In the second paragraph under the general manager update, on the second page, I apologize. Just we need to add there the regional director of DEC. His name is Keith Gertz. G-O-R-E-T-Z. G-O-E-R-T-Z. And so with that change, does anyone have any other revisions to the minutes? If not, I'll take a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Joe, second. Dominic, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you so much. So the first item of business we have on today's agenda is Resolution 15-2015. This is an item that we have been discussing as a board for quite some time, and it is for the general manager to finalize and execute the attached MOU that's in draft form to provide with the Albany and the Albany Port District Commission to provide services in an amount not to exceed $500,000. So staff and the board has reviewed the finances of the Port District Commission and do believe that a one-time payment is affordable. And again, the draft MOU is in your packet. Does anyone have any questions? Again, I know this is something that we have been discussing for quite some time. So any questions or anything the staff would like to add?
Just to make note that Commissioner Coffey, on a motion, would have to recuse himself from the vote.
Given his relationship with employment with the city. Okay, so if there's no further discussion, I'd like to move to approve Resolution 15-2015, whereas the Albany Port District Commission acknowledges the services are essential and in direct support of the District Commission's mission, and a failure of Albany to maintain its ability to provide services would significantly compromise our ability to successfully execute our own mission. This resolution resolves that the Port District Commission authorizes the General Manager to finalize and execute the attached Memorandum of Understanding with Albany to provide the services in an amount not to exceed $500,000. So with that, I'll take a motion to approve. Second? All in favor? Any abstentions? So we wanted the record to reflect that Joe will be abstaining from the vote, and so the motion is carried. So again, thank you, Mayor. We really appreciate the services and the partnership that the city provides to the port, and we're really excited about the port being a continued economic development driver for the city.
And I would like the opportunity to speak to that
Sure.
Okay. I just want to thank the board and the work that you do, the jobs that are created down here, the continued momentum that we have for what is going on here at the port. It is critically important to the city and to the level of services that we know that we need to provide in order to, again, have that virtuous circle of being able to drive more economic development and more business down here to the port. So we truly are and want to deliver the message that we see ourselves as a partner. We believe that it's so important that the needs that the port needs to have addressed are brought to the city's attention so that we can be as strong a partner with you as you are with us. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, well, the second item on our agenda is to enter into a MOU with the City of Rensselaer. And again, this is something that we've discussed. The staff and the board believe that we can afford a one-time payment in an amount not to exceed $100,000 to the City of Rensselaer for services. And so is there any additional comments from staff or questions that the board might have?
The same consideration that Commissioner Tagliano would have to recuse himself due to his position with the City of Rensselaer.
Okay, so if there's no other questions, I'd like to entertain a motion for Resolution 16-2015, whereas the Port acknowledges that services are essential and in direct support of the Albany Port District Commission's mission, and a failure of Rensselaer to maintain its ability to provide the services would significantly compromise the Port District Commission's ability to successfully execute its mission. So this is a resolution that authorizes the General Manager to finalize and execute the attached draft MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, with Rensselaer to provide the services in an amount not to exceed $100,000. We'll take a motion. A second?
Second.
Any abstentions? And please note that Dominic has abstained from the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, and motion carries. Thank you, Mayor Dwyer, as well, for your participation. Absolutely.
I'd like to thank the Port Commission, for their generosity. We can use it, I've got 4 firemen that were on the edge. This way we can keep them in the support of the facilities on that side of the river. And I thank you, and you're doing a great job, and I want to congratulate you and thank you.
Thank you.
So we, over the next couple of months as a board, will be meeting and doing some strategic planning, really looking at our 1 to 3 year, 5 year, and 10 year goals. And so we would like to, once we've gone through that process, really bring you and your staff in to understand our vision and direction that we're taking and how we might be able to work together to make that a reality for us to support. So again, thank you for your partnership. Very much appreciated. All right, so we have other items that we need to vote on, which we're welcome to not stay for. No problem. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Also, thank you for the lunch. It sustained me for 48 hours. Everybody have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Take care, Mayor. Okay, so we have another resolution to consider here, which is the Global Business Network sponsorship. I know that this is something that we have sponsored in the past. Rich, do you want to talk about that relationship?
The Global Business Network, a group from the Joint Chambers, recognizes professionalism in export business, international business. Our Stevedore Federal Marine Terminal has been a past recipient of the award, the Globee, for their expertise in international shipping. We have maintained a partnership with this group as it's vital to the interests of our ability here and our networking to bring shippers to the port. It's a function that draws a couple hundred of the major players in the shipping business together. And as I said, Federal Marine, a past recipient of the award, it brings to light the benefits of the Port of Albany for the local and regional exporters and importers. The sponsorship, which is the lead sponsor of this Global Business Network function, is $2,500, and ask that the board would support the resolution, and it is within our sponsorship requirements.
Yeah, I think this is just another way to continue to have our presence out in the capital region. Similar to Port Industry Day, where we ask them to come in, this is us, being able to network with the Capital Region Chamber, the Center for Economic Growth, and the Chamber of Southern Saratoga County. So it just continues. It's the marketing initiatives that we have already been doing, and gives us that presence that we're really looking for in the community. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, if not, then I will entertain a motion to accept approve Resolution 17-2015 for the Port District Commission to provide sponsorship to support the Tech Valley Global Business Network, and to resolve that the Commission finds that this sponsorship request is in accordance with the policy, and authorizes the General Manager to pledge the Port District Commission sponsorship of the Global Business Network in an amount not to exceed $2,500. Take a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great, thank you so much. All right, so the next resolution that we're looking at is for a terminal paving project. I think we've briefly discussed this in the past.
In 2008 through 2011, we did a major construction project on the docks between Shed 4 and Shed 5. The area where the new dock concrete ended and some asphalt joined, the compression of the asphalt was about a half-inch below the concrete. We've looked at it, and with the fork trucks running over the seam, we're starting to realize that we're getting some minor damage, which we want to head off onto the concrete. We went to get a quote for the work. We received from a woman-owned business, Harbor Roads, a quote for $16,900 to go the entire length in question, Shed 4 and Shed 5, and then they were also looking the area in front of Shed 3 between the actual dock and the sheds was in major need of some repair. They're going to mill that area, fill it with the required New York State top, and bring the area back to where we can safely operate and mitigate any ongoing damages to the new concrete work. The woman-owned business, under the statutes that we are guided by, we can award a bid direct to a certified woman-owned business in the amount of $16,000. It's far below the ceiling of $200,000 for a direct award. Our goal is to reach 30% of minority and woman business entity work within the port by going direct to this company. It helps us achieve our goal in contracting with disadvantaged businesses.
requesting apprenticeship programs? Are they signatory to any apprenticeship programs?
I don't think
I don't
so.
know for sure, I can't confirm it. I can find out.
Yeah, I don't believe they do. They're a, I'm not gonna say a very small operation, but they're,
Is that not a requirement? Well, I'm not sure on this type of bid, but based on the price, is it a requirement that the contractor be hooked up with an apprenticeship program?
No, not a requirement.
I've never seen it as a requirement. We can check.
Yeah, bigger jobs, it is a requirement based on the price. I'm not sure, but, and the problem is a lot of these smaller contractors don't have a apprenticeship program, but they're not hooked with any of the unions.
Is it for a state requirement? So we'll need to figure out what the price point is there, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we will look into that for the next
We'll
meeting.
find that out.
Yes.
Report back to the board.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right back to that.
I mean, my guess is with such a small contract, it probably wouldn't be.
It might be under the
Right,
minimum,
right.
I'm not
But it's
sure.
worth- yeah.
If I could, only for scheduling, if we can investigate and find out that they either are required and comply or are not required, could we get the authorization once we find that, just so we can get on the calendar, because the board won't meet again, I believe, until the end of September, and the New York State DOT material is only available October, November, so it may put us out of this year. I'm concerned about the condition of the dock, not that we want to plow snow, but in case we have to. The equipment that we run over that area is also one of the things that's causing the damage to it.
Can we modify the resolution to reflect that we authorize the general manager to execute the contract subject to verification of compliance by the contractor with any required apprenticeship program or demonstrated that they can be waived from that? Would that, something like that work, John?
Are there any other questions about awarding the contract? Okay. So resolution 18-2015 approved, resolves that the Albany Port District Commission awards the contract for the project to Harbor Road, which is a certified WBE vendor, at a cost not to exceed $18,590. That includes a 10% contingency, and authorizes the general manager, subject to verification that Harbor Road meets all of the state requirements for apprenticeship program, for the general manager to execute the necessary documents to facilitate this award. So, do I have a motion? A second? All in favor? Aye. Great. It's exciting that all of this new work is causing us to do more work. You know, like we invest and reinvest in keeping our facilities top shape, so it's all good stuff. Costs money to make money, right? Okay, so I think at this point we'll head into the general manager's update.
The dredging project, phase 2 of it in Rensselaer, contract was awarded to D.A. Collins. That'll begin on Monday, August 17th. We had that 2-week window, the extension that was granted to us by both the Army Corps and the DEC. We expect the project to run 2 to 3 weeks. We're in conversations with McLaren Engineering, who did the bathymetry surveys originally, and are reviewing all of the dredge plans of D.A. Collins to make sure that they are in accordance with not only laws but our RFP and proper handling of the material. We've had preliminary discussions with Moffett Nickel on their proposal to begin once we have the finalization of the executive budget award for the design of the new dock and roll-on, roll-off barge operation that'll be built into it. We applied for a Tiger grant. We received support from General Electric on our application. We've had discussions with Senator Schumer's office. His support of the project application is certainly vital, as we've learned from past applications. Megan and Annette have also applied for the CFA funding for additional work that is planned in the terminal. The total applications that we've put in the last month are 30.
Well, the Tiger grant was $15.5 million, and we submitted a CFA application for $6 million, and we got a little bit more greedy on the update revitalization initiative for $8 million. And we're also asking for the priority project status from the Capital Region Council, and then we'll be submitting a DOT application before the end of this month.
The CFA application was at the ESD for the $6 million?
Yes, we applied for ESD funds through the regional councils, yes.
The Sims project, 700 Smith Boulevard, discussions with DEC. They asked for some follow-up testing to original ground testing, water testing that was done. We, in doing that testing, we hit a hot spot. They went back. They 3 weeks ago, John, was the where Fluff went back.
Yeah.
They expanded the original planned site, moved it out a little bit farther. We believe they found the perimeters of the hot spot, which are still manageable. We're working closely with DEC in the region to be able to start to clean up on that. Sims is still working closely with us as a partnership to clean up the area and get it back into commercial operation. I don't have the date, but we've been invited by the governor's office to participate in the annual Minority and Women Business Enterprise meet the contractors, meet the vendors event that's at the Empire State Plaza. We'll have 4 or 5 people attending it. It's 2 days, and I believe it's in October.
It's early October, I
But
think.
the Ford will be represented at that, so that we can find out more avenues of opportunity to expand our WMBE participation. And also, as Commissioner Bulgaro had asked, we'll find out the parameters that any of these businesses would have to fall under if the apprentice programs or anything like that are required for doing work here in the port.
Rich, on the environmental issue, on the Sims property, the hotspot, so to speak, does that change the mitigation strategy from capping to any form of removal of that soil at all?
Not at the present time. The area that was originally in question was going to be removed.
Right.
We had to expand it out in 4 directions. We're waiting for the results on the most recent testing. But they didn't have to go out that far where it was still going to be a manageable removal.
It's just the one spot?
John, it was just the one, yeah.
There was the one spot that I had to go back and recheck it.
And so the potential tenant is still interested in
Yeah, the
timing of this hasn't...
last discussions we've had with them, they, Upstate Shredding was the one who responded. They are still interested in it. We're still trying to move forward to where we can, we're probably looking at late 2016, optimistically, by getting it cleaned up and ready to go with a tenant.
Are there any other questions for Rich? Okay, so we're going to kind of...
Monday meeting?
I'm sorry, what's that?
Did you mention a Monday meeting with the governor's office?
Oh, yeah, the Monday, the 17th of August. Also, the Assistant Secretary of Transportation is coming down to meet with Megan and I. We'll give him a tour, Sharif Kabir. We're going to give him a tour of the facility, show him what the intentions are of the $15 million that we received in the budget, and make him more aware of what opportunities exist here at the port.
And we're excited because the Deputy Secretary and the Assistant Secretary are coming with their team, so we'll have the Governor's Transportation top person here.
That's great, and he was that Ford Industry Day too, right?
And she's his boss will be coming as well.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Nice work.
Well, we've been, doing a lot of investment and also asking for funds for investment, so we're happy to show it off.
Good. Answered my own question. Sorry. Okay, so we'll turn it over then to Tony to talk about how well we've been doing this past month.
Okay, thank you. Chairperson Stephens, would you please pass these down to Mr. Corella, the Reverend, and Mr. Thomas, so they have a copy?
Yeah.
There's 3 sets there.
Are they the new ones?
Yes.
I put them in on
Oh, they already have folders?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that. If you would pass one
Yeah,
on to
these are the
Mr.
most-
Thomas then?
You already got that, no?
Okay, oh, we duplicated these, okay.
Very
It's there,
efficient,
right?
right?
I want to make sure we got it covered. You have in your packet the report for the ships, barges, and tonnage report, and the longshore hours report, which was sent to you last week electronically. And there are some changes in this final version. And this particular report is what we might say in-depth or a micro look at what has transpired. This is the June report. Now, if you would, go to the last item that is in your packet. And it's the color folder? And what this is more of a broad overview or a macro view of where we are, taking a look at 3 segments. The top segment is the July month and year-to-date in the green. And as we know, last year was a banner year. And if you go down to July year-to-date, the second set of numbers, ships and barges, we're down around 21. Last year was a banner year. Grain, we're down 7 vessels. Heavy lifting project overall, down 10, and scrap steel down 3, which are 20 of the 21 in the shortfall we have this year versus last year, the banner year. And when you're looking at the tonnage, we're down about 168,000 tons. 100,000 those are from the grain. And around scrap iron is 62. So that's about 162 out of 168. And what this basically reflects is what's transpiring in the world economy. The U.S. dollar has become stronger, so it's more difficult for our companies to export. And on the other hand, it's easier for companies in other countries to market their products here in the States, and that's example by the wood pulp. Wood pulp, an import product, is up around 10,000 tons this year. So that's a comparison of last year, our banner year, versus this year. Now, if you go down to the next segment, that's comparing July the month, and go into the lighter shaded yellow. What we're doing is we're taking a look at the 5-year average, 2009 through 2013. And if you take a look, ships and barges, the 5-year average is 33.8. What we did is 34 so far this year, so 0.2 of a vessel. Then you go down to tonnage, we're down about 3,800 tons, and based on a gross of around 200,000 tons, we're down 2%. So we're moving along at an even pace, what might be termed. Then the last item at the bottom in the black are the longshore hours. And longshore hours are up 13,484, 60%. What's that attributable to? We've heard it a lot last year. OCI, the Open Crate Inspection Program, and also the General Electric Algerian electrification program. So that's a broad overview, and you have what might be termed the micro also. And any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
So the GE project that we just were awarded, since we're not doing the packaging, we won't have the same amount of longshore hours that we did, right, with the other project?
Bill Ring is going to make some comments if you can, Bill, but could you speak to that?
Yeah, what's going to happen, the Open Crate Inspection program that we've been running for a couple of years now will eventually shut down here, probably by the end of this year, because they will have their own centralized packaging facility located down south of us, where everything will be brought in there and export packaged there, and then it will be delivered to us for storage and then loading to the vessels. So yeah, we'll see a drop in the hours based on losing that program. But you know, as with that customer goes, there's always things that come up. Besides that, what's keeping us going, we're stuffing more containers. We're putting more cargo in containers these days than we have in the past. So that's creating a lot of terminal work, you know, throughout the month, doing that. But it goes up and down. You never know. It depends on the project. But those are some of the things that do, you know, keep the terminal end going.
At this point in time, Bill, any other comments?
Just a quick, we're looking at a good August. Right now we have 3 GE ships on the schedule, a 4th pending. We have a wood pulp vessel, and as like I just mentioned, we're continuing stuffing containers for GE. We picked up a little new business this month. When we backtrack, we're finishing up the loading out of the wind cargo that's here, the nacelles and the blades and everything. It looks like they'll finish up here pretty quickly, so that's kept us busy. We handled about 140 containers to and from rail that were going out to a closed GE facility for a cleanup. It's contaminated soil, so that's containers are being brought in here, trucked out to Pittsfield, brought back. We're loading them on rail, and they're being taken away. We just finished the first phase, which is about 140 containers. There'll be other phases beyond that every few weeks. So that's a little bit extra work we're picking up in the terminal these days. And we're getting ready to do a shipment of Dresser-Ran cargo, probably somewhere towards the end of September, which is a nice little pick. We don't get to see Dresser-Ran too much, but it's nice when they come through. So
that's tied in with the Bechdel
correct
project.
Correct. Yep.
And so the 2 projects you just talked about, were they included in when we were talking last month, I think, about, you know, sort of how many ships we anticipated between now and the end of the year? Were those part of that, or are those in
I'll be
addition to?
presenting that information in executive session.
Great.
Because we don't want our competition to be aware of what we're working on.
Sure. That sounds great. Does anyone have other questions for Tony or Bill? there any other business? If there's no other business, I will take a motion to enter executive session. We have some legal issues that we need to discuss in executive session. All in favor? Aye. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jack, the custodian. Whoops.
Vegas, I'm in executive session.
Have a good one, Jack.
We got it.
I don't know. Actually, it's on the agenda.
Okay. All right, so our next board meeting will be Wednesday, September 23rd at 12:30 here. And with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Second? All in favor? Aye. Great. Thank you.